draw center, the draw center gonna say, speak to our counsel. Because there's some issues or whatnot, so you get ready to probably do a lien on the property or whatnot.
Yeah.
So we don't want to put too much verbiage in there where to speak directly to our attorney or whatnot, because evidently you calling, because the contract is not going to call us, there's a problem. They're either not getting paid or they having issues with the buyer or whatnot. At the end of the day, the obligation of the bank is to that buyer, not the contract.
Right. Yeah, the only reason I was calling, because this dude was just every other day was something new.
Yeah, and again, that's the difficulty when people dealing with a 203K streamline, anything less than $35,000, because you take out that common mind, meaning consultant, out of the picture or whatnot. So if there's conflicts that you encounter or whatnot, who's to address them? It's you, and that it's your words against a lay person that might not understand the whole process, and they don't understand every little thing they do have an impact on that total job.
So you should get a consultant regardless if it's a full or a streamline. So you should, I mean, if that streamline would be helpful for the contractor as well, because of the situation I ran into before. I could be like, hey Johnny, man, this guy, man, you got to talk to this guy.
Absolutely.
He's acting up, man.
Absolutely. And the consultant job is to mediate the whole process before it even gets to mitigation. And even when you're doing a streamline or full blown or whatnot, that's an added benefit, because it's going to cost you, the bank, the contractor, everybody a little bit more money if they go to some type of mitigation.
Right. And time.
Right. So it's better to have a level head now. Third party don't have anything to do but come in and consult you and direct you in the right path or whatnot. So when I speak to the lender, or I speak to the homeowner, or to the contractor or whatever, I carry a whole lot more weight. And if I had to go to court to say, okay, this is what's been done because the homeowner was not doing what he was supposed to do, or the contractor wasn't doing what he was supposed to do, or the bank ain't sending the contractor money and whatnot, we still have a little bit more power, if you would.
Right. That's true. Yeah, that's true. Because we didn't have a consultant, so this guy had total control over this guy and the flow of money.
Correct.
So even though the bank sent the check, sent it to him, so they sat on it, and they wouldn't give us the check.
Absolutely.
They said, we're not going to give you this until this, and this.
Absolutely. And see, again, piping in for the consultant and whatnot, once that check is sent out, because when the bank sends a check out to the buyer, and it should be in the name of the homeowner and the contractor, it takes both of them to sign or whatnot. They also send a notice to the consultant saying the check has been, because we the one come out for the draw inspection. So we know when the check should be there or whatnot, because we got a relationship with the bank and whatnot. So if the contractor calls saying we didn't get paid or whatnot, we know we authorized, we sign off saying what was complete or whatnot, then we can say to the bank, now it's a homeowner's problem because they got a check that they have not turned over.
Right. Yeah, because it took me, man, almost 4 weeks to chase this guy. I go to his house, he's not home.
Correct.
Then he's like, oh, meet me 6 o'clock at night. So I go to his house, he don't get there at 8 o'clock.
Correct. The worst case scenario, I had a project in DC. It was a $200,000 renovation project. The first draw was a $7,000. This first draw was $7,000. A contract money already put in. The money was released to the homeowner. The homeowner went and purchased his daughter a car with the money.
Whoa.
Because that big old check, some homeowners might have never seen that amount of money or whatnot. It can be in hard hand. They forgot you did the work.
Yeah.
And they said, well, we got room in there. Then they want to come back and negotiate with the contractor. Give me a break over here, cut something off over here, do what? No, but at the end of the day, what we wrote up to be done with this house has to be done. There might be some little changes here and there, but you still got to more or less stick to the plan. So that means every dollar got to be accounted for.
That's true. No, you're right. Because once they see that check, they just...
Wow, this is money I never had before.
And then the other job that I did, so we gave the guy a statement of work. We were going to take out the old oil tank out, put in a central, and put in a condenser outside.
Okay.
Run a new Freon line and everything in the house, and the frame out this utility room in the basement and everything like that. He got the check. He's like, all right, Sid, I'm going to do this part, and I'm going to do this, and my boys going to come over, drop in the AC, and my other boys going to come over and do this. So I'm going to give you $2,000.
Correct.
I'm like, dude, but the bank is going to send me a 1099 for the full amount.
Correct.
So now you're just taking my meat off my bone.
Correct. Which is against the law for the homeowner to do that. Because again, the banks are looking at it like this. If you come in from a contractor standpoint, the bank is only looking to be able to talk to one person. If anything go wrong legally, inappropriately or whatnot, the bank is only coming to one person. That's why when you as a contractor turn your paperwork into the bank, you need to be licensed, bonded, and insured. So the bank don't have to go after you if the job was not performed according to write-up, specification of repair.
Right.
They don't want to go to the homeowner. Homeowners, however, can go to the bank and say when they first initiate their loan to say, we want to do it streamlined as a self-help. So the bank will allow in certain situations for a homeowner, if they got the skill sets, to do their own work. But that's being right before you go to close it. If they bring in if they bring in a contractor, it's that contractor's responsibility to complete the whole entire job. The whole entire job, without question. The homeowner gave up the right for you to do it.
So that's the guy. So we put in a 4-ton unit. The condenser he bought outside didn't match the unit, so his boy had a condenser, I guess wherever they got it from.
Correct.
And the brand in here was a Courier, and this out here was a Goodman. And this is a 2.5 ton. Dude, I can't work.
Yeah.
So they put it in anyway, try to get it to work. Well, it didn't work, and guess who they're blaming? They're blaming us, talking about, well, this ain't, everything wrong with the front. No, it's the condenser.
Correct. And again, that's why it'd be a perfect rule of engagement to have a consultant to mediate all that problem.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, okay. So between your head and my head, we got enough juice to spit it out. All right. So
you can do it. That's all a part of negotiation. But I'm throwing as a homeowner, people love honesty. I'm throwing you what's going on in my house already.
So there's one for buyers.
Correct.
And then there'll be one for sellers.
Correct. Sellers / listing agents.
Right. And then listing agents.
Well, the agents in general, we probably want to tag agents in general and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, we know, okay, so if you deal, regardless of, you got to have an agent that understands the process.
Correct.
And then you got to, if you're a buyer, that's very important.
Correct.
If you're a seller, the best thing to do is get somebody to come out there, do a thorough inspection report, then that'll be a benefit. That'll be a benefit to the seller, because then now you have this report, which has all the details, like in terms of what needs issued, what needs to be repaired.
Correct.
So that'll be the seller side.
Correct.
Okay.
They can have that report available to anybody who want to come and take a look at the property.
Right. And then the seller could say, okay, well, I'm going to sell this house for $300,000, but I'll give you credit towards repairs of $5,000 or whatever the case is. Or the seller could choose to fix them himself.
Correct. But
and get a higher price.
Exactly. So so it's handled from both ways. On the other end, if the buyer said they're going to do it or whatnot, then of course the buyer can reach back out to the people and say, okay, I need this consultant. You don't want to roll it up, then you come back here and now you're paying me to do the draws and to walk you through it, playing project manager, or they got to call us back for the contracts, and whatnot. Another person we need to attach to the banks, like what Sam is doing now, going to the bank saying, let us do the same thing we're doing for a listing appointment we're doing for the banks as well. All your foreclosures, let us go in and do a pre-read writer for you, whatnot, so you can be able to put out there with your listing agent now, your foreclosed, your real property, what's wrong with it.
But that's where they're doing the BPO, but they only pay like. This is, you're talking more of a depth detail report.
BPO is just giving a broker's price opinion on what the house will sell for. It's not telling what repairs are needed. I mean, if it do, it's
nominal.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Like the windows broken.
Exactly. But giving a thorough inspection with this is how much money you got to put in this house to make it savable in half from the least amount of money you got to put in it. By a licensed HUD inspector and whatnot. That's how Sam got in with Bank of America. Like I said, they gave a return with almost 2,000 homes in him to start doing that.
Whoa. Because
the thing is, come help him out on.
And that actually, that brings up a good point, because that helps the banks, because a lot of these banks, if they're in a very bad condition, then the appraiser won't even necessarily do the right appraisal, and then you can't even get the loan if it's in a good bad condition.
Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. So this home sitting out there, all the banks want to know, how can I get rid of my house quick, as soon as possible. Pay the $350 up front and whatnot, and you know what's wrong with your property already and whatnot. So when the people come out and say, yeah, I'm going to do it as is, maybe I allocate this amount of money, or at least buyers beware. This is what's going on with the property and whatnot. So outside this realm, whatever, if something come in now, after you're going to put a contract in, the HUD and consultant already told us what's wrong with it. So anybody could have vandalized. We're not responsible for anything beyond this point. We cutting our line off. So it's really giving them legal standards, if you would. So we want to appeal to them too, because like I said, a lot of them also now are doing rent with the opposite box. So the bank is getting into the rental part. So again, this is telling that bank, you want to rent this property out, bring it up to code.
Right, bring it up to code. Right, that's bring it up to code.
So that's why we say we're addressing the banks as well, and it further put our foothold in the asset management side too, though.
Yeah, because if it's not up to code, then the bank may not make the loan. And,
correct.
probably can't get appraised and all that stuff.
Correct.
So we'll make separate videos. So we'll do. You're not recording this, are you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you are?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. That's fine. We could always delete it.
Yeah.
But all right, so that's cool. So we'll do one for buyers specifically. Like here's the benefits. Like for example, that guy Dion buying that house, right?
Mhm.
So he called the consultant out there. They went through it really carefully, and they spent like 3 hours.
Mhm.
And then he created a report. He had already put the contract on the house,
Mhm.
but the loan officer said, "Well, you cannot move forward
Mhm.
until you get this report back."
Correct.
And so then that's where,
The consultant come into play.
yeah.
Mhm.
But at that time, if the house was really damaged and had a lot of issues,
Mhm.
Dion could have walked away from the house. I don't want the house anymore.
Correct.
But he would still pay that fee.
Correct. Correct.
But then that fee is a lot better than getting into a situation.
That you can't get out of.
That you can't
Or it's
get out
over your head, moreover, because again, you were, from a layman's standpoint, you walk into a house and you start looking around. Okay, yeah, paint, do a little bit of paint, doing this, doing that, and whatnot. But once you break it down from the inspector standpoint, when I'm going under that rug, I'm checking the drawers, I'm checking different things that you might not pay attention to from the general perspective. Someone might say $5,000, where I come in and say it's $25,000. Your loan cap might only be for say $10,000. So again, now you don't spend you don't spend $350 or whatnot, but you still can't afford the house anyhow. Or you can spend the $350 whatever, and you have an idea whether I can move forward or not. Or say, do I want to tack all this? So I can start making my budget out before I even put an offer on the house.
Then it goes back down to the buyer. How bad does he want this house? How bad does he want it?
Correct.
So if we say, look, this is going to be 30, 40, 50,000.
Correct.
It's got termite damage. It's got
Correct.
crawl space issues.
Correct.
The roof is falling.
Correct.
Then if the guy says, look, I really want this house, and the lender and the loan officer is willing to put all that money into it,
Correct.
and he can get the loan,
Correct.
then cool.
If you qualify for it, you get anything you want in the house.
Right. If you qualify, you
At
get
the
the
end of
loan.
the day. So again, going even further back, backing up on that a little bit. Okay, now everybody talking about a dream home. So here you can have your dream home. You can have a say so, as long as you qualify for the money wise or whatnot. Why not lump it in? You want granite countertop, a new addition or whatnot. All that can be added in at this point in time.
So then we could also talk about the loan qualification process.
Mm-hmm.
So that guy was, 640 is the credit score, and then 3.5% down.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can get seller help
Correct.
up to 6%, but in our area, that's changing
Mm-hmm.
because the market's shifted. So
Right.
most sellers are like, I'll give you 2%.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
but yeah, so okay, so this could be 3 separate. It could be one here. So it could be 1, 2, 3 separate videos. So so we'll run through the buyer side. So let's just say from the buyer side, let's talk about that.
Okay.
So I come in the house, I want to buy the house. So I look at the house, I found the house, I like it, I like the location.
Correct.
So now what I do is I hire a consultant.
Correct.
Mr. Johnny Baker, I'd like to hire you. Can you please come out, analyze the property, and tell me from your professional opinion what is wrong with the property?
Okay.
Then you come out and you do your analysis, and then you may or may not bring a contractor with you.
Correct.
Okay, but in this case, we'll say you will.
Yeah.
Bring a contractor.
It's probably better to have as many people on site as possible. You have your contractor on site, for a company,
With the
consultant or whatnot,
consultant.
then the contractor get to see what the consultant see or whatnot, so they can give you a true report once they send the report in, because again, everybody's on a time constraint or whatnot.
Right.
So if we all, the homeowner, the contractor, and the consultant see the same thing at the same time, whatnot, then we all put our reports in time together, whatever, it can move the process a whole lot.
A lot faster.
A lot faster.
A lot faster. Yeah, because I've been called a couple times to do estimates,
Correct.
but I may not get back to them for 3 days because
Correct.
I'm just so busy doing other things.
Correct.
Then they're calling me like, "Say, where's the estimate? I
Correct.
can't move forward until you give me the estimate."
Correct. Correct.
And
Correct.
so yeah, no, that's true. Time constraint is a big thing because you never know when the buyer has to be out of their, if they live in an apartment, it's
Correct.
got to be moved,
Correct.
whatever their situation is. So yeah, the time is very important.
And you have to know too that the contract and the HUD consultant numbers and stuff have to mesh at the end of the day. So that's another reason why you want to have everybody there. So the homeowner, again, from a HUD inspector standpoint, my role is to make sure that the house is habitable and safe at the end of the day. from the homeowner's perspective, whatever, yeah, he want the safe and habitable, but he also might want his beautification, his FHA bringing up the code, paint and beautification, my castle, if you would, or whatnot. Then the contractor job there is to make sure all that vision of the homeowner and what HUD says will happen all come into play under that homeowner's budget.
Right.
And that's why you have all three of them together.
And the timeline.
And the timeline. And so if you mention all those three at the same time and whatnot, it's not hearsay, she say, it's like all us here saying the same thing. So we understand what has to be done, we know what the homeowner wants, we know it has to be done. Now let's put all those together, whatever, so then we can get that report back over to your lender. And in turn, the appraiser can come out, and the appraiser come out and take my report, look it over. Now we're going into underwriting. Now, typically you're saying that, just like you made the point earlier about, it might take you a week or so to get a report back over to, an estimate back over to the homeowner, whatnot. That homeowner have a lot of issues on time. So now with all this stuff together, whatever, I can, as a consultant, say, okay, now if you want this job as the contractor, whatever, I need your input or whatever, because I have all this going on. So not the homeowner might not know everything, but he have me at his back end to make sure you are doing what you're supposed to do. So we can make sure we get everything moving on a little bit faster.
Right. This is like, you know, like they were saying, the guardian angel.
Correct.
Right. How you spell guardian? This don't take the guardian angel. Right. This, I mean, so the $350, it's like insurance. You gotta. It's like, why do you pay your car insurance?
Correct.
You know, I mean, you never know what's going to happen.
Correct.
All right. No, that's true. That's because these buyers, you just don't know what their situation is in terms of where they're moving from or what they're doing. I got a call this morning from a lady in California. She's moving this way.
Okay.
And she's like, I need a house by next week. I'll be down there Friday. I said, okay, that's impossible. You know what I mean? And then I said, well, what is your budget? She said, $1,000. I want to be in Bethesda. I said, whoa. I said, you want a Class A neighborhood and you want to pay $1,000. I said, that price may bring you down to a D neighborhood. Well, I don't want D. I want to Chase, Bethesda, Silver Spring. I said, look, I'm sorry, I can't help you.
Correct.
You know, so you just don't know what the buyer situation is and what they're looking for. So it's just all about education.
All about education.
All about, you know, teaching them and giving them the proper education so they can have the right power to make the right decisions.
Correct. And that's the biggest benefit of having a consultant, because they're there to hold your hand, to educate you, to inform you, to be your best friend through this whole process. Because a lot of people don't want to get into 2 or 3K of renovation. It's a stressful event. Don't care how minor it may be to how major it may be or whatnot. People, like, you know, they see TV, they see, it's always something popping up. You never know what's going to go on and whatnot. So you need somebody to have your eyes and ears and have an understanding on what should happen to be able to break this whole process down to you. Now, on the other end, you might have contractors that's used to getting in with their hands that they can't communicate to the homeowner or the lender or whatnot. So that consultant come in again and say, I'm the eyes and ears for you or whatever, so I'll be able to break this down for you because the contractor don't have time to talk.
Right, because then you got the bank involved.
Correct.
Okay. Then you got the homeowner involved. Then you got the contractor involved.
Correct.
You know, so everybody's got to be able to communicate so the money can flow properly as the draws and the schedules and inspections and timelines and all that stuff, and according to the scope of work, all that's got to be. And then this guy here will make sure all these things happen on a timely manner.
The consultant plays the facilitator, as if a project manager, more or less.
Right. Okay. Because the homeowner just doesn't know.
Correct.
And so you're there to basically protect the homeowner.
Correct. At the end of the day, I work for the homeowner.
Right. Okay. So yeah, that makes sense. Now, what happens if the contractor that is selected starts the job, and in the middle of the job, you know, we want to get rid of the contractor?
Again, the homeowner hired that contractor, the homeowner had the right to fire that contractor.
Okay.
And so what we do at that point is say, okay, we send a request to or change order back to the lender saying that we no longer need the service of this contractor. My job again as a consultant will come out and say what all the work has been done to make sure the contractor that was on the job get paid for what he has done.
Okay.
There's not necessarily a reason behind the contractor being fired other than the fact it could be a numerous amount of reasons. But at the end of the day, if the homeowner say, I don't want the contractor anymore, as a consultant, my job is to make sure we write up, give them what's owed to them, and then interview and help them bring in another contractor.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because that happens. A lot of times contractors will take on 3, 4, 5 jobs.
Correct.
and then they'll get behind, and the homeowners got deadlines to move in,
Correct.
and then, you know, or a lot of times the homeowners will say, hey, I want the sink here, and then 2 weeks later, no, I want the sink here.
Correct.
So all those things could have a delay in the overall project.
And that goes back to the consultant. Their job is to make sure they manage their job to get it. Because again, when I hand out a report, I'm saying you only got a month to do this property.
Right.
Period. The full thing. It's my job to say, homeowner, honest, just what we agreed upon in the beginning and whatnot, you cannot hamper the contract from doing their job. So therefore, just what we said you agreed upon, if you want to make changes later on, under a time constraint, your budget won't allow certain things, this is what has to happen. This is what has to happen. Because from a consultant standpoint, I can contact your lender saying you're making this job difficult, not the contractor. So your loan would be in jeopardy of not being able to go through its full tuition.
So you can keep them in check.
So they keep in check, because again, you got to understand,
Yeah.
homeowners oftentimes does not know the whole process as well. But they got HGTV, they got all these other things, these little fabulous shows you got going on. They got high expectations, but don't understand the process.
Right.
So again, a consultant come in and say, okay, keep them at bay to make sure they understand the process and within a budget and then within a certain time frame.
Right, right. Now, the homeowner, the person at the bank, the homeowner could also be communicating directly with the person at the bank
It's their loan.
about the consultant as well as about the contract.
Absolutely. The consultant can be fired just as well as the contractor
Okay.
at the end of the day. Again, because it's the homeowner's loan.
Right.
Keep in mind, if you fire a contractor, fire a consultant, and whatnot, it might delay the process of you moving into the house.
Right.
You know, because if most homeowners don't understand the thing, it's much easier to try to work with a contractor or consultant you already have on bay, because no homeowner, no contractor, nor a consultant want to come in and try to finish a job someone else started.
Exactly.
So you never know where they left off, what could have went wrong and whatnot. So it's to everybody's best interest to try to work together, and that's why it's so important to have a consultant there, because again, we're going to advise you, and we know the market at polls when contractors and everybody come to play with us, we can determine, say, okay, this might be a good fit for you. You know, this might be we can control them, we can't control them, whatnot. So there's a lot of different things buying into the whole process and whatnot. The consultant job is to make sure that this move as smooth as possible.
Okay. Right. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So we're gonna let's talk about the buyer side.